my name is Ray and welcome to my new channel, Regular Ray. For my first video, I would just kind of get my feet right in the water and do my coming out video, which has been probably like 4 years in the making. We're just gonna go ahead and start from the beginning. Oh, by the way, I'm bisexual. As a kid, maybe like 4, 5, 6, whatever, whenever I would play pretend with my friends, I was always the boy. Whether it was Barbies or imagination or even like video games when we play The Sims, I was always the boy. And I mean, it wasn't until I got older, maybe when I was playing games when I was like, I don't know, 10 or 11, that I started wanting to be the girl. Even my mom told me once when I was like 5 and we were about to eat at a restaurant, and she asked me if I was gay or if I liked girls, and I was like, yeah, but I'm hungry, I'm ready to eat, because I was like starving. When I was younger, I always had crushes on boys too, like celebrities or boys in my class, but I don't know. I never really noticed girls other than as friends. As a preteen, I mean, my parents are like semi-religious. My mom goes to church more than my dad, so I would always go with her and my sister. I've developed crushes on boys there, and I always had my good group of girlfriends there and in middle school. I'm nothing really romantic crazy. It wasn't starting until high school. Like freshman year, I had a French class and I met this boy in there, and then we pretty much were on and off throughout my whole high school career. It was my senior year when I did this musical. High school did a Hairspray. I kind of developed this like I don't know, crush on this girl, but I didn't realize I was till maybe the very end of the musical, and I was like, dang. I would like wait for her at her locker, and I was always like excited to see her. Oh, sorry, that was my phone. I was always excited to see her, and then I was like, dang, I think I'm gonna have a crush on her. But I was like, whatever, I'm about to graduate and go to school. So I went to a school 4 hours away from my hometown. I live in the south of Indiana, and then it's about like in the middle of Indiana. And I kind of forgot it. I was like, well, I'm about to go to college and meet all these boys and whatever. And so I mean, I was always talking to a new guy. But it wasn't until I would get like drunk with my friends and they'd be like, Ray, do you remember like asking to kiss me last night? And I'd be like, no, like I was like blacked out drunk. I don't remember doing that. But it didn't happen like one time. It happened like a good 3 or 4 times before I was like, what the heck? Why do I keep asking these girls to kiss me and I don't even want to kiss them? I was like, I don't know, do I? It was like this Halloween party. This is like later in the semester, not October. We went to this party me and my best friend did at the time, and we met this girl there, and she was like cool. We were talking, and she asked me like, do I want to dance? And I was like, yeah, okay. So we were dancing or whatever, but it was like pretty intimate, and it was like, I don't know, I felt like electric waves through my body. It was, I don't know, I've never felt that before. And so I remember walking back home that night from the party, and my friend was like, man, you danced with that girl for a while. And I was like, yeah, whatever. And she was like, are you gay? And I was like, what the? No, I'm not gay. And I was like really, really mad. Like I started speed walking ahead in front of her. And I was just mad. Like, why would she ask that? Why did she care? Blah, blah, blah. And I like didn't want to talk to her for like the next couple hours. But then I like got over it. And I was like, I don't know why I got mad, blah, blah, blah. But in my head, questions were really like cranking themselves out, like I don't know what this means, blah blah blah. Fast forward to the next school year, my sophomore year of college. Well, actually that summer I was like really going online, kind of on Tumblr, seeing just pictures and stuff, and I was like, dang, I think I might like girls a little bit, but I kind of like kept it a secret. So I didn't really tell anybody that first semester. But then I also, this other friend doesn't mind if I say her name. Her name's Olivia. She's like my best friend. So one night it was me, my best friend Olivia, and our other friend who was going to be our roommate that next year. We were all hanging out, we were playing Halo, and we got drunk playing Halo. And then I was like, hey, can I just stay the night in your dorm room because I don't feel like walking all the way back to mine? She was like, yeah, cool. So my other friend left and I stayed the night there, and I was like, and this is in January, this is the spring semester, and I was like, I have a secret. And she was like, what? I was like, I think I'm bisexual. And she was like, really? And she was like, I mean, that's your secret? And I was like, yeah, why? She was like, girl, we already knew that. And I was like, oh, because I don't really show that side of myself back home, so I guess I didn't really feel like I was like that at school, but I guess I was super gay at school apparently. So then I felt guilty. I didn't tell my other friends. So the next morning I told her too. And they became the first 2 people ever to know. So then I still kind of kept it a secret. Maybe 1 or 2 people knew. The only other major thing that happened my sophomore year was like, I had liked this girl. I had danced with her at a party. I had got her number. I told her that I thought I liked girls, and she said she thought she did too. But she really didn't. It really wasn't nothing. It was like whatever. I was kind of mad about the whole situation for a while, and I kind of was like mean to her because I was mad that she didn't like me back. But I realized now that was really immature. But I mean, I have no grudges against her, whatever. So anyways, going to junior year, a little backstory. I had been trying to get in this like sorority my sophomore year, but me and all my friends were, but it really wasn't working. So then our junior year, like, well, rush time happened again. We were like, oh, we should do this sorority. And in my head, I was still like battling through whether I should do the sorority or not. Because honestly, I didn't get into it the year before, and I fell into a deep depression about that. And then the whole sexuality thing. So I just didn't want to be like gay. I would cry about it all the time, all the time. So I was in a better place, and I was like, I don't want to go through all that again. I mean, I'm still battling with the sexuality thing. I don't feel like not getting in this sorority again, but we all 3 tried. And we all 3 made it. And while I was like during the process of like becoming in the sorority or whatever, I had told all of my other sorority sisters, I was like, I'm just gonna say, like, I sometimes like girls, call it bisexual, whatever, but yeah, and they were all really accepting. That was like 2 years ago, almost 2 years ago, so it's been great. They're really awesome about it. Yeah, we got into the sorority, and you know, my love life was still pretty dead. I was talking to guys here and then, but I've honestly always been more attracted to girls. I mean, intimately, guys are cool or whatever, but like emotionally, it's always been girls. So fast forward again, a whole another year, almost exactly a year. And there's this girl, I'd always been her friend, we've just been friends. But one night, I had made a move on her. I always make a move on girls when I'm drunk, but nothing ever happens. I had never been with a girl ever. And I just remember, like, I came up to her and I, like, maybe, like, smacked her butt or something. And she was like, Ray, not here. And I was like, what? But I was really drunk, so I didn't pay any attention to it. So the next day, she invited me over to her house. And she pretty much came on to me. And from there on, we were talking. But we had to keep it a secret because she wasn't out or whatever. She still honestly isn't, to tell you the truth. Not a lot of people know who she is, but we like kept it on the down low or whatever. But basically, while she was with me, she was with like her ex-boyfriend and this new guy. It just got really messy, and I was like heartbroken about it for a while. Pretty much all of that December of, 2014, last year. I eventually got over it. It took a couple months because I was really head over heels for her. But main thing is, while that was going on, my parents had no idea like I was talking to girls or even like girls. But I had told my sister earlier the last year, 2013. So last November, we all went to my grandparents' house for Thanksgiving. And I had been texting that girl, and we were like fighting, kinda, but we were like saying like lovey-dovey stuff in the middle because we had a very toxic relationship. I'm in the kitchen with a bunch of my cousins and my mom, and my dad calls, and he's like, Ray, give the phone to your mom. She's not answering her phone. So I was like, okay, whatever. And so I gave it to her, and I was like, I'll be right back. I gotta go to the bathroom. So I was literally in the bathroom for maybe, 2-3 minutes, and I come back and she is scrolling through my phone, and I was like, Mom! And lo and behold, it was those text messages from that girl. But luckily, when I get mad, I delete people's numbers, so her number wasn't saved. And so she was like, oh, I got to the juiciest text, and I was like so embarrassed, so I stormed out the room. And my cousin, who already knew, and my sister came following behind. They were like, what's wrong? And I was like, my mom went through my text messages. And they were like, no way, who are they from? And I was like, the girl I've been talking to. And they were like, oh, crap. So my mom comes in the other room, and she was like, so who are those texts from? And I was like, And she was like, they weren't from Brett, were they? That was my ex-boyfriend in high school who I was on and off with. And I was like, no. And I was like, Mom, do you really want to know? And she was like, yeah. So I was like, okay. So I was texting my sister and my cousin in a 3-way chat, and I was like, well, if you guys want to come in this room with me, I'm just going to go ahead and tell her, because I feel like I've been waiting to for a while. and it's about time. My sister didn't want to. She's still kind of weird about it, but my cousin was like, sure, whatever. She didn't care. So she came in the room, and I told her, and I was like, you remember that girl I was FaceTiming earlier today? And she was like, yeah. And I was like, yeah, that's her. And she was like, wait, are you gay? And I was like, no, I'm bisexual. I was like, I guess like halfway. And she was like, wait, you want to get like gay married? And I was like, Mom, I don't know. Like, I feel like I'm still so young. I was only 20 at the time. I'm about to be 22 in a couple weeks. And she was like, does your dad know? And I was like, no. And she was like, and we talked about it for a little while. She's kind of weird about it. She had a lot of questions. I mean, it was whatever. So I was like, she was like, do you want me to tell your dad? And I was like, yeah, I don't want to tell him. So we left my grandparents' house. They went back to my hometown. I went back to school because I just went straight from school to my grandparents' house. And so my dad texted me a few days later, and he was like, we need to talk. And I was like, oh, crap. And, you know, Thanksgiving break is, what, 2 weeks before Christmas break, and then you're back home for like 3 weeks. So I was like, man, I'm dreading this week back home. And during that time, the girl and I, we were going through some problems. And that's when she finally told me she was, like, sleeping with these other guys. And I was like, oh, well. I thought I was like in love with you for that or whatever, but we weren't in love. I realize that now. No, I don't have any bad feelings to her. But so here comes Christmas break, and my dad's in the kitchen. Oh, we're actually right here. I'm sitting like, oh no, I was in this chair right here. My dad's right here. No, I'm right here. My dad's right here. My sister's right here. My mom's like right across from me. My dad goes, oh, so you think you're gay now or whatever. And I was like, oh, here, we're talking about this now. He was like, yeah, we're going to talk about this. And he was like, so you've been sleeping with girls? And I was like, geez, Dad, like, I mean, like, yeah, I guess. And he was like, that is so gross. You know, that's a sin. He's like, I always knew guys who had daughters or nieces like that and thought that was so gross, but I never thought I had a daughter who did that. And he was like, oh, you know, you're going to hell for this. And like, had this been maybe 6 to 7 months prior, I probably would have bawled my eyes out the table. But because I was so confident in myself and my sexuality, I really was just laughing out. I was like, well, I guess if I'm going to hell, you are too, because you're not very big into church and you cuss a lot. And I found porn one time in your search history, so please get off my sexuality thing if that's the only biggest thing I'm doing bad right now. It's like, I'm in a sorority, I'm getting good grades in school, I'm working. I was like, you really can't say anything other than that. And so it just went back and forth for like an hour and a half, and it just was not resolved at all. I just got tired of like saying the same thing over again, like, it's not that bad, it's not that bad, it's not that bad. So I went up to my room, and I was texting my sorority sisters about it, and I was like, yeah, I'm just kind of like annoyed, upset, not crying upset, but just upset. He's just being such a D-bag. And I went back to school. Then I started really telling people like I was like bisexual, and like people were accepting. It was the end of my senior year of college, so it was whatever by then. I didn't really care what people think. I don't really care what people think now. Between then and now, it's the summer since I've graduated. Jeez, my phone is blowing up. It's the summer since I've graduated. I've talked to a few girls here and there. I've talked to a few guys here and there. Again, sometimes I don't feel the best connection. It has to be a really, really tight guy for me to feel a connection. But with girls, I find myself always being a little puppy dog, like trying to impress them. But I mean, I'm back home now, and I'm 4 hours away from school. My social life now with like girls is probably down the toilet because I'm not in that like high, exciting environment of a bunch of college people. So I mean, I've kind of accepted I'm gonna be single for a couple years, but that's okay. And I've never had a girlfriend. I've had like 2 boyfriends, but they were nothing serious other than the guy in high school. And that's okay. I've been to my first Pride this summer and it was amazing. The dates, even though they didn't work out with the girls, were always so much fun. Like I went skating, I went to my first gay bar. I mean, being openly like gay or bisexual, it's just been so much fun. And then I look at people's coming out stories all the time on YouTube because I just find everybody's story so different and unique and fascinating. I've been out for almost 2 years now, so I just thought it was finally time to make my own. And why not start my new channel with my first video as my coming out video? I mean, people at school are probably gonna watch this and maybe judge, but again, I don't care. I don't go to that school anymore. I mean, my friends know who I am. I know who my friends are. And that's really it. But I mean, if you guys have any questions or comments, definitely leave them below. Subscribe, and with this YouTube channel, I'll be making more like vlogs, and I work out a lot, so I'll be making workout videos. Sometimes I like to make music videos, just lip syncing for fun. Just random stuff, who knows. So yeah, follow, subscribe, or whatever. I'll put my links to my Instagram and my Twitter below. But yeah, thanks for hearing my story. Any more questions, blah blah blah, I already said that. Alright, see ya, bye.
Mercy.